What's up, guys? Welcome to the Video Editor Collective podcast. I got a special guest here, Athar Bangash, one of my buddies that's been in my school community for a couple months now, is where we met. And yeah, this show is it's a podcast dedicated to more of the sales and the marketing of video editing, of how to find consistent clients and make a living doing this. Video editing has become so accessible these days. People are even doing it on their phones. It's so easy to get started. It's really easy it's really easy to learn how to get good at video editing. It wasn't always like this, but how do you take that skill once you learn it and turn it into a career? How do you find new jobs consistently and actually make a living doing this? That's what we focus on here. The demand for our skills is through the roof right now. There's millions of people, every day posting content online, and many of them need us. Many of them need video editing services to succeed at what they're doing. A lot of them are making really good money posting content, but they probably don't have time to edit the content themselves, and they're probably not very good at it. So how can we tap into this demand and get our piece of the pie? So that's what we're here to talk about. I got a good friend here that I've known for a couple months now. We met online. He joined my school community and just brings like really good energy to the group. He's got a ton of experience in the industry. He's definitely made a name for himself over the years. He really doesn't even need my help and what I teach inside my group. He's more of a teacher inside the group than a student. So it's great to have him on the podcast. He's got a lot to share. So Athar, why don't you just give us like a little intro about you, like how you got started in video editing, and maybe just like a 5-minute version of your story.
All right. Well, it's a great pleasure to be here, honestly, Karl. Video editing is such a broad concept in the industry, right? We can only be there by showing visuals, and we can attract that only with the skill, right? Like we can attract the customers, we can attract people, viewers. So with that being said, my name is Athar Bangash, and I'm currently, as of now, 25, and I'm based in Pakistan. It's a third world country, but it has its highs and lows.
Yeah.
And I started back then in 2013, and it gets me it gets me jumping on my feet, every time I think back on the journey, how far I've come, right? Yeah. I started off as a video gamer. I used to play video games like 16, 17 hours a day, right? That's what got me good at communication. I made tons and tons of friends from all over the internet. And that's what got me into video editing, basically. I started making content for myself. And I started uploading videos on the internet, on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, you name it, man. And that's how my craving and my fire for video editing and content creation just kept growing and growing and growing. Eventually, it landed me over here, right? Now it's 2024, and a lot has changed ever since. I've made over 25, 26 grand as of now. I first started making money from this back in 2019, right? Okay. Yeah, but I got my first investor when I was when I was in 2016, and I'm all self-taught. Yeah. All self-taught. And I'm also a dropout on top of it. So
yeah. Love that. I love that story.
Yeah, and so all this this whole theme, the way I went through highs and lows, this whole thing, right? It kept me on my toes at all times. I wasn't always good at it, right? I just kept going at it. I kept following my heart. I kept doing what I felt like I just wanted to do, and things just started happening, man. Right? Sponsors, investors, working with Red Bull, working with all sorts of travel creators, right? I'm a travel filmmaker as well, so I got really good at cinematic filmmaking. which landed me a bunch of great deals. I got to work with millionaires. I got to work with all sorts of entrepreneurs, big time creators over here. So yeah, that's just my story, man.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you're right though. You know, it's one step at a time, right? You start as a hobby, and you know that's where you practice and you get a little
Yeah,
better, and then you meet some people, and you know you do some work for others, and you make a little bit of money. And each project you take, each client you work with, each relationship you build, things just grow and they compound. You know,
yes,
so
sir.
I think that's one thing. You know, in this podcast, what I do here is dedicated to the younger me, the younger
Hmm.
version of me, the
Yeah,
younger editor. So that's who I expect to be listening to this, and just keep that in mind. Is like every little interaction, every little piece of content you post, every project you work on for someone else, every project you work on for yourself, like it all adds up. It may not feel like it, you
yeah,
know, but it all adds up to get to, you know, to a better place, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's cool to hear your story. It's cool to hear like some of the relationships you made along the way that helped to get you to where you are. Maybe we can go into a little bit more of that. I know you know, along your journey, you know, you met some people, like you said, you had people that invested in you
Yep, yep.
to start businesses and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit more about you know, these people you met along the way that helped you to get to where you are today.
So initially, like the concept of sponsors, I wasn't even aware of it back then when I started, right?
Hmm.
And when I was playing video games, I received an email. I opened it, and it's from a game developer telling me that, hey, we are about to launch our new game. And it was like a big time game at the time. And they were like, you know what, you have early access to it. And you know what, just go ahead and do your thing.
That's pretty cool.
When I read that email, I'm like, holy shit, right? My
Yeah.
friends, when I told them about it, they were like, you get access to this shit?
Yeah.
This wasn't even released, and you
You're
have
someone
early
special.
access. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I felt so good.
that's cool.
And and from then, like from that day onwards, I realized if I keep chasing my passion, if I keep chasing my heart,
Hmm.
the fire is only going to burn brighter and brighter, and that's exactly how I just kept going at it, and which landed me my first investor who invested $4,000 you know, with me at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they just showed up one day and telling me that, hey, Athar, we know what you've been up to,
Hmm.
we've seen your content, and we believe that you're gonna go sky high, so we would like to invest in you. I'm like, but I
That's
don't
awesome.
know if, yeah, I just told them, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know
Hmm.
what I'm chasing. I'm just chasing myself. They're like, that's exactly what we are investing in. Not in your business, not in what you are as of now, but what you're about to become.
Man.
And I'm like, I don't know. I have no guarantee if this would work. They're like, we don't care. We just want to
Wow.
be there. We want to invest in you. And we know for a fact that when the time comes, we will approach you. Until then, we don't care. This is the investment. This is what we should invest in you. And at the time, $4,000, that was, oh man,
Yeah.
it got me pumped. It got
I
me
bet.
that kick
I
that,
bet.
oh, if I keep going at it, you
Yeah.
know, if I just keep going at it, things are going to happen the same way that it's been happening. And it kept going on and on and on. And it got me in touch with all sorts of people out there, like big time creators, millionaires, man, working with
Yeah.
them. That
Yeah.
was insane.
Hmm.
That was insane.
And that's just a result of you putting yourself out there, right? You know,
Yep.
they found you because you had put
Yep.
content of yourself on the internet.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
you know, and we'll talk a little bit about personal branding later, but you know, that's just the power of like you put yourself out there, like into the universe, and you know, that's how good things come, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
The more places you are in the world, right? Like the more DMs you're sending, the more emails you're sending, the more videos of yourself you're posting. It's like the more times you're getting in front of people, like it's gonna come
Absolutely.
back around. It's gonna
For
come back
sure.
around. You
For
know,
sure.
if you're just sitting in your room and you're just like afraid to put yourself out there, afraid to you know reach out to a stranger, afraid to put a video of yourself online, like you might be sitting in your room by yourself the rest of your life. You know.
Yeah.
And you know, on the other side of that fear, of putting yourself out there is opportunity. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
that's something to always keep in mind. Something to always keep in mind. Cool. Thanks for sharing about, some of these investors. By the way, what did you end up spending the money on?
Camera, gimbal,
Yeah,
better equipment, man. I
yeah,
just kept
yeah,
going at it. I'm like, you know what? I've got money and I can
yeah.
spend it on whatever, just making my content something that will help me make my content better. I'm like, you know
Uh-huh.
what? Just go,
Uh-huh.
go and spend it all. And I spent it right then and there. Didn't even think for a second.
Yeah.
This is what I want. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you were probably what, or 20 years old or so when that opportunity
Yeah.
came, huh?
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of young guys out there that are looking to find their way, and it's like for you, it's like you followed your heart,
Exactly.
and I think that's great advice for anybody. Cool. So why don't we talk a little bit about, you got good experience working with a range of different clients from all over the world.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about like, if there's a younger editor out there that's like good at editing, but they're struggling to find work, you
Yeah.
know, what are some actions that they can be taking on a daily basis to get to a point where they have consistent work? Like what should they be doing instead of just sitting there watching YouTube?
Well, I should start with the first client that I got, right?
Hmm.
The first time that I got paid.
Yeah.
It was 2019. I had just switched from I was learning programming at the time. One of my big time friends, he's like a top hot shot right now.
Uh-huh.
Bought himself like tons of houses at this point. He's the
Oh, wow.
same age as me, right?
Nice.
So he was teaching me programming. I just wanted to dive into different skills here and there, right? And I was kind of like heartbroken because this is what I wanted to chase, right?
Yeah.
And now like I'm entirely switching to programming. Things weren't making sense to me. So I
Yeah.
did that for 4 years. And one day I just tell myself, you're a failure, man. You failed, right? I don't know why, but something inside me, my heart just told me that, hey, man, you have failed in your life, even though I had pulled off so much, but still, that's just what I told myself, right? And I told that to myself, like, you are a failure. I said that to myself 10 times that day, right? And I just let it all out. I screamed my lungs out, like I screamed, I shouted, "Yeah, you're done for, man."
Yeah.
And once it was all out of my system, I came back. I sat at this chair. I started, looking at the screen, looking at what I have done in the past, looking at what people are doing, how far people have come. And at the time, freelancing platforms were on the peak.
Yeah.
Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer. There's just so many platforms. So I'm like, you know what? I have always made content. I have always done things. So what if I start doing this for other people, right? I made a profile on Upwork. I made a profile on Fiverr. I put all my content over there, all the things that I made for myself, right?
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
I had no client work, so I had to show up with something, right?
Right.
And I just started hunting for people because I knew how to communicate. I knew how to reach out to people because of the sponsors and whatnot.
Yeah.
I started emailing people. I went to Discord. I started approaching people over there. I joined this gaming group. It was of this person, the first client that I had, right? He was a gaming content creator. I emailed him and even texted him on Discord and told him that, hey, I would like to edit for you, and these are the edits that I've done for myself. He's like, have you ever done this for like other people? Do you have more clients? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. You are my
Yeah.
first client.
Yeah.
I haven't done this before, but I've done this for myself, so I know the exact steps. He's like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. And he sent me his raw footage. I edited that content, right? It took me 9-10 hours to get that done, and I only got paid like $18 for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was insane. But for me,
Yeah.
$18 at the time, because it was my first time with a client, right? For me,
Yeah.
it was everything. I was like I was
Mindset.
hungry. I was hungry, man. I was gonna
Yeah.
go at it, and I did that. And that guy's like, "Oh, okay. And you know what? Would you be open up to doing this every single week?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in. I'm in."
Yeah.
So yeah, the main point of this thing is that if we show up, right? If
Mm.
we send emails, if we
Yeah. Mm.
communicate with people, if we talk, if we are just being sincere and honest, like
Mm.
that is the only thing what our competitors cannot copy, right? Sincerity and
Yeah.
integrity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they cannot copy. So that's exactly what I did, and that's what I would always tell to the younger editors, that if you show up, if you're confident, and even if you're not confident, it's okay. You just go ahead, send that email, send
Mm.
that voice note, send that message. Just tell the other person that hey, you would like to work with them. The worst they can say is no, right? You just
Yep.
move on to the next one, and then you keep going at it. And this is how you will always open new opportunities for yourself.
Yep, that's exactly right. I mean, we touched on it earlier. The more emails you're sending, the more Upwork jobs you're, sending proposals to, the more DMs you're sending, the more people you're interacting with online. It doesn't always need to be a sales pitch.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just about, you know, asking somebody if they need help or telling someone you're a fan of their content, getting in some DMs and,
Exactly.
and,
Yeah.
and building a relationship with somebody before you even think about working with them, you
Yep.
know. But yeah, if you're a younger editor out there, like get off of YouTube, get off of Netflix. If you're looking for work, there's these things that you should be doing every day until you solve that problem, right?
Exactly.
You should be on Fiverr creating profiles. You should be creating work for yourself. Like you didn't have work to show. So
Yeah.
you had your own work that you made for yourself. If you're a video editor, you can make something right now to add to your portfolio. You can go to YouTube and pull a podcast clip off of YouTube, edit it for the biggest podcaster in the world, and put it on your portfolio to show others what you're capable of. So there's no excuses anymore to not have work in your portfolio. Make a fake commercial for Nike for all I care,
Yeah.
with some shoes that you have in your closet. Um, it wasn't always this easy to make content. When I started out, cell phone cameras weren't good. You couldn't make a video on your phone. Now, like if you have a capable cell phone, like you can record a video with that. You could even edit it on your phone if you wanted. There used to be a large barrier to entry. You used to have like a nice camera. It's not like that anymore. So there's no excuse to not have work in
Exactly.
your portfolio.
Exactly.
And yeah, like, the fact is, like, you have a problem, right? You're not employed. Like, you have time. You don't have clients. There's things that you should be doing every day, doing research on people out there that might need your services, making a list of potential clients, reaching out to them every couple days until
Yep.
they tell you to leave them alone, right? Like
Yes, sir.
we should be creating this list of people we're finding on YouTube, like these creators, people we're finding on Instagram and LinkedIn, and you're just adding them to this list, and then you're just emailing them, DMing them, trying to start a relationship. Like I said, it shouldn't start as a sales pitch. Like you shouldn't just reach out to a stranger and say, "Hey, can I be your video editor?"
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're on Upwork and they posted a job about how they
Yeah.
need a video editor, okay, well, like now you can talk to them about being their editor. But for now, like, let's just work on being a friend. Let's just work on getting a response first. Certainly you can offer your services, but like, to get your foot in the door, offer them a free sample, like a first free edit, or better yet, like do an edit without them asking for it and then send it to them, right? Like there's these little techniques you can do. If you don't have work now, like there's ways to find it. And I find like a lot of these editors out there that aren't busy with work, they're just not doing these little details, So if you are one of the people that are willing to do these little things, you're going to crush the competition because
Exactly. Exactly. 100%.
yeah, people are always saying like, video editing's oversaturated. There's too many editors nowadays. That's true, but most of them aren't good at editing and aren't doing the things needed to find clients, right? So like to be better than the competition is also really easy. So something to keep in mind for you
Yeah, I
young
mean,
guys out
if it sits in our head that hey, the market is saturated,
there. Yep.
everyone out there is just going at it, right? But at the same time, every single day there's new businesses popping up, right? And if we have nothing to show, then like nothing's gonna happen. So if you tell yourself that we don't have anything, just grab a camera or grab
Yeah.
content from the internet. Like for in my case, it was video games. I would just record, I would
Yeah.
edit, do
Yeah.
subtitles, effects here and there, storytelling, right? Those are the skills that you don't need a camera for either, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just footage you can like screen record, right? And then
Hmm.
edit, upload, and keep going at it, make it better
Yep.
each single time, and things will start happening. It will. At the time, it won't seem
Right.
like it, but eventually, you will see results.
Yep. You got to build, right? Like we talked
Yep.
about earlier, one step at a time. Like every little thing you do and you put out into the world, is going to come back to you eventually. Um, and
And
we
I've
can even
like
talk. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So I've personally taught like so many editors, and one thing that I
Yeah.
noticed in all of them, right, in every single person that I taught, they were like, hey, we just need money right then and there, right? They're not gonna put in that work. They're not gonna like they feel entitled.
Yeah.
The universe doesn't like it doesn't owe you shit, man. You have to go for it.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
yeah, you have like people always felt entitled, man, and it
Yep.
made me so sad because when I think back at my journey and how far I've come, right?
Right.
It just makes me very sad when I see that people are saying that hey, we've done this much work and we are not getting any return. When I look at it, when I ask the simple question, if I ask you that, have you sent 100 emails in the past
Right.
20 days?
Yeah.
What would your answer be? They're like, so emails, we haven't sent that, but like
Yep.
we have done this, that. I'm like, you know
Right.
what? That's where you failed, and then you're expecting your income to come at you. It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way, right? First, you're gonna chase your goals, your passions. You're gonna show up for it. You're gonna tell the universe that, hey, I'm here, and I'm gonna go get it, right? Okay, if like I just don't feel entitled, this is what
Yeah.
you should go. Like, no one was born with video editing skills, man. No one was
Right.
born with it. They had to learn.
Yeah.
I had to learn. You had to learn, right?
Yeah.
So we just put in the hours. Like I've put in so many hours. I'm not even like a top level editor, but I get paid
neither.
for it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tell the clients that hey, this is what I've done. This is what I can do, and just go at it. But if we
Yeah.
don't show up, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the first step is just showing up. Certainly a lot of it comes down to mindset, like you're talking about, like these young editors feeling entitled. We could both go on and on about our journeys and
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're successful now, but like, I was
Yeah.
poor for a long time.
Yeah.
I was not making money for a long time. Like now I have not to brag, but like I'm doing pretty well now. Like I'm in a good spot, but I'm also 15 years into my career. And like I said,
Yeah.
every little step got me to here. Like every little client I worked with, every piece of outreach I did, like whether I got a response or not, like it's all practice, right?
Exactly.
And like, I do hear that word coming out of a lot of editors' mouths, like, video editing's oversaturated. Like it's a race to the bottom. There's not enough high paying clients. Like, if that's your mindset, if that's what you're telling yourself,
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
anything else in the world, what you tell yourself is your truth. I tell myself, there's a million people out there that need my service. There's more high-paying clients out there than I can handle. And
Yes,
it is
sir.
it is my truth because I can't take on any more high-paying clients. I have too many.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
whatever you tell yourself, and this doesn't like another reason like I love talking to you is like your mindset and your outlook on life. Like I don't need to tell you this premise, but like this goes for anything in life. Like if you tell yourself whatever you tell yourself is your truth. If you tell yourself like you're
Absolutely.
never going to be rich, like absolutely you're not. Absolutely you're not. But if you tell
You attract
yourself
what you are.
you attract what you put out into the world. You attract
Yeah.
the thoughts. Your thoughts become things, right?
Yep.
So you tell yourself like you're going to be poor for the rest of your life. You will be.
Yeah.
Facts.
Facts.
You tell yourself you're going to be rich one day. There's a
And
good
it'll
chance
happen.
there's a good chance that might happen, right? You tell
Yep.
yourself that enough every
Yep.
single day, I could almost bet on it, you know? So, I mean, it's
Yes,
the
sir.
same thing with video editing. You tell yourself there's a client coming tomorrow. Hey, let's put a plan into action to make it happen, right?
And it will happen
And it
100%.
will.
Just
It
gotta
will.
put in the work.
Yeah, if you believe it, right? If you believe what you're
Yep.
telling yourself,
Yep.
and then like it doesn't just show up, right? Like you tell yourself, you convince yourself, you believe in yourself, and then you take action and make it happen, you know? So I know that's one reason you and I get along so well is because we share that, you know,
The mindset, right?
that mindset, right? And
Yeah.
it's so important to succeed in this industry and any industry is it's like,
Exactly.
you know, it's 90% mindset, right? Like you just said it, and I can agree myself. Like I'm not the best editor, and I'm not trying to be, you know.
Yep.
I could spend a lot more time learning new animation techniques and new video editing techniques, and like I want to be better at editing, but I also want to like make a good living doing it and provide a good life
Exactly.
for my
Do more
family. So
things, right? Yeah.
like you know, I do try to improve my editing, but I also like more so try to improve my communication, my marketing, my sales skills. You know, so there's a lot more to, as you know, a lot more to editing than just Adobe Premiere and DaVinci
And
Resolve. You know,
that's where majority of people get it wrong, right? They think
yeah,
that okay, they've learned like top level edits, right?
right,
They can do this, they can do
yeah,
that, they can do this kind of animation, motion graphics, yada yada yada. Your client doesn't care about any of that. They
right,
don't, honestly. They just care
yep,
about the value that you can give to them. They care about you being able to communicate, you being able to
yep,
provide them value, save them time. So
hmm
these are the major key points. Your selling skills, communication skills, negotiation skills are always going to be on top. Video editing, if it's here, these skills are like here.
100%, 100%. It's the soft skills, the additional skills, right? Doesn't matter how good you are at editing, it's only going to get you so far. So
Exactly.
I always tell young editors like get good enough to sell what you're doing, and then
Yeah.
and then figure out how to sell it, right? And you know that's what I've done with my career, and it's worked out pretty well. Cool. Why don't we touch on personal branding?
Hmm.
I consider it a cheat code for video editors. You know, if you wanna separate yourself from the competition of the millions of other video editors around the world, it's through personal branding. It's through turning the camera
Absolutely.
on yourself, practicing what you preach. You know, we're telling clients like, hey, you should be posting content about yourself to improve your business. But if we're not doing what we say, you know, if we're not, you know, taking our own advice, how is it supposed to work for our clients if it's not
Hmm.
working for us,
Hmm.
right? So, you know, there's a million reasons why we should be starting personal
For
brands
sure, for sure.
as video editors.
I first remember when I started making my personal website, right?
Yeah.
I made that and I started filling up with the content that I've made. I grabbed the camera, I started making my own content. I
Hmm.
was scared shitless. Like
Yeah.
I
Oh
was
yeah.
afraid, man. I was
Same.
afraid, right?
Same.
I was shivering when the first time the
Yeah.
camera was on my face.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, and how does
Yeah.
it feel to be in front of the camera now, right? I
Hmm.
was always behind it, but now when I'm in
Yep.
front of it, I'm shivering. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to communicate, even though I knew those things. But in front of the
Sure.
camera, it wasn't happening. But
Same.
I knew that had to like get this done, right? I have to do it. So I started going deeper into it. When I made my website, I made like I started making content here and there. I started uploading it on my website, on Instagram, on Facebook, all
Hmm.
over social media, basically, right? Because like video calls, I personally say that like the personal branding, it kind of is connected with video calls, right? It gets you better, and video calls is like your best bet to get to any of the client, right?
Yep.
And that's what helps you with your personal branding. If you are someone that has only posted content that you have read from the internet or you've done screen recordings, etc. But if you
Hmm.
don't show yourself, clients are always going to think that this person might be like a scammer. This person
Yeah.
might be,
Yeah. It's a mystery.
yeah, it's a mystery, right? They don't know who you are. They won't trust you.
Yeah.
So you always have to show up. you always have to show your face, make content, speak to people as you speak to your friends, your family.
Yeah.
If you do that same thing on the internet, grab that camera, you don't even need a bigger camera. You only need like a phone. Not even good pixels, right? Just simple camera, like mobile phone, and a simple mic within the camera itself, right? The phone. Start recording and upload, and keep doing it. Go at it consistently. You just got to keep doing it, and you will see it work 100%. It's worked for me, it's worked for you. And the only reason it has worked is because we were showing ourselves, like we were showing our work, we were showing what we are capable of, we were showing who we are, what matters to us, and what we are going for, what our goals are, what our aims are, right? And how ambitious we are. And that can only happen when personal branding is at place, right? If we work at our personal brand, of course, the client is going to say that, okay, you've done it for your personal brand. This is what I liked about it, right? This is the video that you made. I want my content like that. And make it for them. So,
it's really as easy as that. Just turn the camera on and start. You're gonna get more comfortable every time you do it. You're gonna get better at editing by editing your own content. I mean, like, there's literally a million reasons why you should start this today. Why you should post your first reel today, or just keep going, keep doing it, even if it feels like it's not working yet. You'll have people finding you from your content, right? Like you'll have clients coming to you. I get people reaching out to me all the time looking for video editors because they found my work. So that solves a big problem. Like, you no longer have to go out and find the work is coming to you. So huge benefit to personal branding. But also, like, if you have this portfolio or this Instagram page of all this content that you made for yourself, and now you're going out and you are doing like personal outreach, you're doing cold outreach, you're sending DMs, you're sending emails, and it's like, someone does respond to you. They're like, oh, like, I do need a video editor, and you reached out to them, and it's like, now you have what I call your defense set up. So now that person, like, you reached out to them, you started a relationship with them. Now, before they work with you, they're going to like check you out. They're going to check out your Instagram page. They're going to check out your portfolio. Like, what are they going to see? Is it going to be, like we said, is it going to be a mystery? Or is there going to be a bunch of videos of you talking about your expertise? If they come to, like, let's just compare like two video editors out there, like one that doesn't post and one that does. Like, who's going to get the work? The one that put themselves out there. Like, this is
100%.
It's such common sense, but there's just not enough editors doing it. I see a ton of editors posting like their work, these before and after reels. I think that's helpful, but that's only part of the game, right? Like, sharing your work is only part of the game. Like, I don't know who you are. I don't know, like, and trust you because I haven't seen anything from you. Except for maybe a picture in your profile, which a lot of people even hide behind that and have just a logo or an AI image. It's like, well, you're just like a robot to me. Like, I want someone I can work with. If I'm looking for an editor, I want someone that's going to get on a video call with me and talk through and like listen to my problems and listen to my vision, right? Before I hire them to be my editor. So, like, I need a person. I need, instead of an AI bot, So yeah, like, personal branding, I call it the cheat code for video editors. And if you're not doing it now, today's the perfect day to start. If you're not busy with work right now, this is the fastest way to be loaded with clients to where you can't take on any more work.
And it's not even up for bargain, honestly. Like, you have to do it. It's a must. It's a must. Like all the other skills, it's a must. You have to do it for the people to trust you. You might get lucky with clients here and there. You might get lucky, but to make sure that you're getting consistent income, to make sure that you're getting consistent work, to make sure you're building like a good stream of relationships with clients, you have to make sure that you're building your personal brand. And it's like a marathon, like YouTube channel, right? You have to keep going at it. It never stops. It never stops.
It never stops, but it just grows, right?
It grows. It grows.
Imagine if you start today, like, where it's going to be, in 10 years, and like the digital landscape's going to be, it's going to be even more important 10 years from now, like
Yep.
to have that personal brand. Like we're still kind of early in this, in this digital renaissance, we'll say, where it's like,
Yeah.
everybody needs an online persona, and it's like you should be showing who you are, and the people that aren't afraid to put themselves out there are going to be the one succeeding, right? So if you start today, like, I only just started my personal brand like just a little over a year ago, and it's like I haven't grown like crazy, but like I've made some progress, and I've met like the most important thing my personal brand has done for me is the relationships it's gotten me. I mean, not only with like other editors like you, like I now have a network of quality editors,
Yep.
from all around the world. But like there's been hundreds of people that have reached out to me looking for video editors. And normally like I'm trying to pass it on to other editors within my school community because I don't have the time to take it on. But once in a while, like my work situation does change. Like recently, like, the agency I was working with kind of restructured and I didn't have as much work coming from them. So like now it's time for me to get back to what I preach about, like going out and finding work. And, and I did get on Upwork and I did like send a bunch of emails and I sent a bunch of DMs and like the things I tell you to do. But what it came down to, like my latest client was somebody that reached out to me 6 months ago looking for an editor. At the time, I didn't have time to take them on myself. So I was trying to connect them with, editors from my network, and it just didn't pan out. And so I went back in my DMs and I DM'd him like, hey man, you still need some help. Like, some things have changed for me. And like, we had gotten on like a video call previously, and he, we just like clicked, he's like, we're like similar guys, and he, like unfortunately I couldn't work with him then, but like I reached back out 6 months later and it's like he's like, yeah, like I'd love to have you on, and like bam, like the income that I lost from this agency was like just immediately replaced, all because of my personal brand, all because of these relationships that my personal brand built for me. Yeah, so
Don't skip on personal brand, guys. Don't.
that's the takeaway from this entire podcast, honestly. Cool. So we talked about personal branding. Yeah, I mean, we can get into a little bit more about let's see. What are video editors doing wrong right now? Some other things, like obviously not having a personal brand is one thing they're doing wrong, but what else are editors doing wrong when it comes to like not having consistent work?
So this is what I've actually been diving in a lot.
Yeah,
Right, a lot. I've read tons of books. I've communicated with tons of people, joined tons of communities just to see what people were doing wrong.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I myself was actually doing this, right?
Yeah.
And it's being dependent on other platforms, right? Like platforms like Upwork and Fiverr, and just looking at work at specific places.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the reason why they are not getting, like after doing all of these things, right, that we've touched on, the final thing is that they aren't looking at the work where they're supposed to, which is the internet, right? Don't limit yourself to one platform, to two platforms. You have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Reddit, YouTube, right? There's so many like communities. There's Discord, there's Facebook groups, right? There's school. There's tons of communities that you can go to. What I like to preach is that grab a list of top 100 people, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's what should get you started. Grab a list of them, like make it as organized as you can, because this list would one day be full of like 10,000, 20,000, maybe let's say 1 million, who knows? Like if you grow into a big agency, you might have a list of 1 million clients over there, and it should be organized, like client name and their email and what they have done and how many subscribers or followers, etc. they have.
Yeah.
This way you're not spending on on connects for like Upwork. This way you're not waiting for clients to come message you on Fiverr, right?
Yep.
This way you're not waiting for them. This way you have like, you're not limited. You can email, you can text, you can DM whoever you want, whenever you want. So once that list is created, start approaching one by one, keep going at it, and it will work.
Yep, 100%, 100%. Building that list of prospects, and this is what people in sales do. You know, like we need to become our own salesman unless we're going to hire someone to sell our services. Like we need to be our own salesperson.
Exactly.
And this is what people in sales do. They build out their list, or they go buy a list, right? You know, there's places you can go and buy a list of all the real estate agents in a certain city. And it's like, now you call them all and like offer them your service, right? Like we need to build our own list, and it's pretty easy to do. Like do it on YouTube, do it on LinkedIn, Instagram. You're just finding people that you could tell could benefit from your service.
Yep.
Right? Maybe you can tell they're editing their own videos. You know, they have a successful business. You can tell they're making money, but they're out there, they're trying to create their own content. Well, they're probably taking way too long to do it. You know, you could come in and solve that problem and let them get back to working on their business. So it's really just about like you said, just browsing the internet. There's opportunity everywhere.
Everywhere.
So build this list of prospects, and then, you know, hit them from all angles.
And the reason why, like, I keep telling people to create this list by themselves and not go buy that list right away is because video editors, as of now, are as lazy as they can ever be. They're just going to blame it on the market, on the internet, right? The reason for building this skill is because they're going to improve they're going to start building different skill sets. They're gonna get good at hunting. They're gonna get good at like they're gonna have like that good eye that this client, this lead, that this is someone that I can approach to. This is someone that I should add to the list, right? And the more and more you do it, you'll start getting these skill sets that on first sight, like if you show me a profile, on first sight, I'd be able to tell you, like by the time, as of now, I can tell you that, okay, this is the person that I can email, and I can tell you that they'll mail me back or reply back to me just from the first inside of their profile, you know? So that can only happen once you are like, you know, going stalking every single, not like negatively, but like positively, right? Like you got to stalk, see.
We're looking to help people.
Yep. You got to see where they're lacking.
Exactly. Where you can fit in and solve a problem, right? We talked about like people trying to edit their own content. They shouldn't be doing that. That's a problem you can solve for them and give them back some of their time. And that's valuable to a business owner. But yeah, just like anything else, it's just practice. The more you do, the more you build this list, like you said, the better you get at finding people that need your service. The more emails you send, the better you get at sending emails. The more DMs, you know, just like anything else. It's all practice. And if you're sitting out there and you don't have video editing work, these are the things that you should be doing right now to solve that problem of yours, you know? So nobody should just be sitting around if they don't have work. And I know it's hard to like, you know, it's like you're doing free work. It's like work that you're not getting paid for. And I know what it's like. I've been there too. Like I would rather get paid for my work, but you know, if I can do this free work for myself where I'm not getting paid and it leads to me landing the biggest client in my career, then all that free work paid off. And
exactly.
This is honestly the only way to find it. You know, you can't just sit there and wait for like, you know, someone to come to you because it's probably not going to happen, you know?
It's never going to happen. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some people say, you know, I'm done doing cold outreach because it doesn't work. Well, you probably just haven't sent enough emails. You know, maybe if you broke down the numbers of like all the emails that I sent throughout my career and you like, you know, put a statistic to it, like it might be like one email in 100 landing me a job. But, you know, if I were to look back at all those numbers, it's like, all right, now I know that I need to send 100 emails and I'm going to land a client. You know,
and the way like I've done it as of now, right? The reason of this list specifically and them acquiring those hunting skills and selling skills, they're going to get so good at it that out of those 100 emails, eventually they're going to get so good at it that they might land 80 clients, 70 clients confirmed, man.
Yeah.
It's happening. I've done it. My friends have done it. The people that I've been communicating with have done it, right? Initially, it will be like, let's say 100 emails, maybe one reply, right? But the more you do it, the better you get at it. You're going to get consistent replies, follow-ups, like just do whatever it takes, right? And it will happen. It will happen. It's worked for me, and it's worked for you, man. You've been doing it.
Yeah, it's what I preach, and most, like we said earlier, most editors aren't willing to do this.
Exactly.
Or most editors are doing like a poor job at it. They're just copy and pasting.
Exactly.
Copy and pasting DMs to 100 people. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like finding those prospects, making that list, and being very detailed in the way that we reach out to them, not just sending them a copy paste like, hey, like, I noticed you need an editor. Like, that's not going to work. But if we get in there and like, let's not even try to pitch them anything at first. Let's just like try to start a conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
And see where things go, and see if they need help with anything. Or it's like, like you were saying, you can spot somebody that definitely needs your help. Well, that's a good target to where you can pull a clip off their YouTube and put together an edit for them and send them a free edit, So, getting good at targeting people that need your service, and then being very specific in the way that we reach out to them. It's the way That's the way to do it. Cool. All right, let me see what other topics I had for us. How much time you got left? You
I'm
on
good.
time?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. We talked about mindset. Yeah, I think that was something I really wanted to touch on you a little bit with. I think we're good there. Let's talk about AI.
AI. Okay.
Are you using any AI tools to better your workflow, to be a better editor, to be a better communicator?
So
how are you using AI in your life so far, or specific to video editing in your career?
Well, personally, I've only been using ChatGPT as of now, but there's like tons and tons of things that have been popping up, like Open Sora, etc. Right?
Yeah.
As of now, personally, a lot of these AI applications or apps or like web apps, whatever, right? Whatever you name them.
Yeah.
They're like nice and all, but as of now, they're not as polished, right?
True.
ChatGPT and few of others like text-based ones, and especially the ones that are coming out with Adobe are nice. Firefly, that's really good, right? The generators are really nice, and it's going to get polished. It's the next big thing. It is happening. As of now, it's not as polished, right? But it's going to happen, and the only way you're going to be on top of it, and the next this coming digital era, right? The AI era.
Yeah.
Prompt engineers are going to be the next big thing, right?
Sure.
And it's happening right in front of our eyes. I personally haven't dived that deep into it. I just stick to what I think that it will help me out, right?
Totally.
But every single day there's new businesses coming out with new AI tools here and there. And I would highly suggest everyone to just like at least read an article on it, watch a video on it to see that how it can help you and how it can help your clients. If it's something that you like, if it's something that would save you time, definitely dive deeper into it.
100%.
Because it's going to happen, and it is happening.
It is happening, and if we don't learn to use it within our workflows,
it will replace us.
It'll replace us. Other people are other people are going to learn to use it, and other people are going to be putting out better content, more content because they can edit faster, better sounding content. There's all these like flashy new tools like the video generator, Sora AI, and stuff like that. But like, there's also really basic stuff like these audio enhancement tools that we have now, where we can take like really bad sounding audio and turn it into
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I've tested one or two or like in the past, and it was insane. Bad audio into like a really good mic. It was insane. I'm like, what the hell is going on, man?
And these are the things that we need to be learning to use, and at least like knowing about for like when we do get a project where someone didn't have a microphone, like we can still make them sound decent.
Yep. Yep.
And if we didn't know about that feature that's available to us and like another editor did, and this client says, well, so and so editor was able to make me sound good, like why can't you?
Yep.
You'll be left in the dust. So we need to incorporate all these new features as they come. Like you said, like a lot of them aren't ready for us yet, but some of them are. Like ChatGPT is a good place to start. Helping clients with scripting and content ideas.
Yep.
It's great for that. Writing descriptions, like if you're posting content for clients, like letting AI write descriptions for you or help with it. There's certainly areas we, as video editors, we can step in and use tools like that. Adobe Premiere has some tools that they're baking in where you can take a music clip and extend it out.
Extend it.
Yeah,
right.
and they're even incorporating that same feature into video. So like if you need to extend your video clip just another second or two, like that's like the next step. And as these video generators become available, we need to learn to use them. And a lot of, like you said, a lot of it comes down to how good you are at prompt writing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
if we don't have stock media that we can use, we don't have B-roll from the client, like this is now a resource for us to go make video clips for our projects, and there's a learning curve on how to use them. It's one thing I've started experimenting with. Like I want to be up to speed on these video generators. They're pretty expensive and they take a long time to work, but I think like starting out, the way I'm starting to use them now is by taking like a still image. So you can plug a still image into these video generators and you can basically say like make it move, and so like I'm taking images of, like, for my personal brand, like I have a lot of images of myself, and like maybe I'm working at a computer, and instead of just using I would rather use a video clip in my content. So now I have a whole library of images that I could turn into video clips where maybe I only got a little bit of B-roll footage of myself. Well, I can turn all these photos into B-roll now. And it's one thing I've experimented with so far that's like actually working kind of well. And it's something I plan to keep up with, and certainly something I'll be sharing on this podcast and within my content as well. So cool, man.
Yeah, man.
All right, you got any other topics we could riff on before we jump off here?
Yeah, sure. I would like to discuss about basically like the criticism, right? How do you think?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about every video editor and creative has to go through this journey of like submitting a project and getting like feedback, right? And sometimes it's friendly and sometimes it's not, right? Like how do you, what was your journey like on being able to accept criticism about your work, and like where are you at now as far as that goes?
Initially, when I received feedback from my client, it was nice, right? I thought that okay, like the client's mindset and my mindset, it's like entirely two different places, right?
Yeah.
So for me to understand the client, I need to make sure that I'm listening to the client. And whenever I would receive a feedback, I would make sure that I get on a call with the client in case if I don't understand some things, and I would tell them to make me understand this point. What did you mean by this? And what's your whole thought process behind it? And it only made me get better at it. Initially, in later stages, actually, yes, in later stages, I didn't really like people giving me feedback for whatever reason. I thought that I was just getting good at it and whatever. But then life humbled me, honestly. It humbled me, right? Yeah. I started realizing that, hey, I mean, it's actually good to listen to people giving you these criticisms, and not every time you should take it negatively. There's so many positive aspects to it. Your personal growth, your mindset, and your thought process, it gets better and better. So we just have to be open up to it, because not every single time when you make something, the other person is going to understand it. And for you to be able to understand, you have to communicate. You have to receive that feedback with an open heart, right?
Yeah.
I know it's not easy. Sometimes it can
Right.
get frustrating and tiring, but eventually you'll start to understand that it's there for your personal growth as well, for you to understand your clients better.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like every creative goes through this journey where taking criticism at first is kind of tough, and you take it personal, and you kind of want to explain why you did things a certain way, you know. But if we like look at it from a client's point of view and like put yourself in their shoes, like they're paying you for you to help, you know, fulfill their vision. They got something in their mind that they want your help with. And if those two things aren't aligning, and you know, they're giving you this feedback to try to get you closer to where they want to be, and you're trying to explain why they shouldn't do that, or you know, explain why you did things a certain way, like they don't want to hear that, you know. So I found like later in my career to like not take anything personal.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I almost, and I, you know, I'm a client now too, so like I hire people to edit for me. I hire people to edit for the companies I work for. So like I'm on the other side of the situation now, and when I'm like requesting revisions and giving criticism to other editors that I've hired, now I know what it's like when they're sending me this long email
Exactly.
about like why they did things a certain way. And it's like, listen, like, no offense, like, I think, you know, what you did was fine, but it's not what I wanted, you know. And I don't have time to like listen to an excuse for why you did it, or like the reason why you did it really doesn't matter to me. Like I just need things done a certain way, and as a client, and then we're going to move on. So like as a video editor, like, you know, when we get revision requests, like we don't need to like explain ourselves. We just need to like, you know, get on the same page as them and try to fulfill their vision, you know. So a little bit of advice for you young editors: no need to send this long email back about when you get revision requests. Just like, just make the revisions, you know, send it back to the client and get paid, man. Get paid.
Yeah, I mean, no need to get salty about it. If there's something that you don't understand, just give them a call, right? Always hop on a call. It's you maintaining that professionalism and a good relationship with your clients, right? But it's always important to be on the same page with your client, right? If you are not, eventually you're going to lose that client. And then you're going to keep bashing your head like, hey, I mean, I put a lot of efforts into that thing, but it didn't work out well. It didn't work out because you weren't paying attention.
Yeah. Exactly. That's really all these, you know, all these jobs are about, is just like working with a client to be on the same page as them. And if you are, they're going to keep you around a lot longer.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. Well, I think we're coming up on an hour. Really, I think we touched on a lot of good things here. I could see us doing more of these in the future.
Yeah, sure.
It's cool to hear a perspective from someone, you know. I love this new digital era where like we could just get on a call like this, and we live completely on opposite sides of the world.
Sure.
Get to share our different perspectives. I think it's valuable to hear your perspective from, you know, from Pakistan, and I try to give my, like, what I'm seeing over here in the States, and hopefully, you know, younger editors find some value in listening to us chat, and let's definitely plan to do it again.
Absolutely, for sure, man. It was a pleasure, and I'm always up for this. Like it's such a beautiful relationship that I've built with you this far. You know,
For sure.
We've hopped on so many calls and we've talked on so many things, and not always about video editing. We were just there to to just like communicate, to be able to understand each other. We are humans at the end of the day, right? So we have to connect with each other at a human level. And the more we communicate, the more we hop on these video calls, the better we will understand the clients, the better we will understand people, right? So yeah, man, I'm always thankful for you. It's always a great privilege to be able to talk to you, like as a friend, and as I joined your community to be able to learn something, but then I realized that, hey, I mean, I already know everything, so just be able to communicate, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and the more you do it, the better you get, just like anything else, right?
Yep.
The more calls you're on with strangers from across the world, the better you get at communicating with strangers from across the world, you know? Like,
Yes,
um,
sir.
yeah, and what Arthur's talking about is, you know, a school community that I run that he joined months back, and yeah, like I said earlier, he doesn't really need my help. He kind of knows everything that I'm teaching in there, but we do these group coaching calls where, you know, we got editors from all around the world just getting on, and yeah, we're not always talking about editing. A lot of it's
Yep.
mindset. You know, we definitely share like what we're learning in editing and how we're finding clients and trying to keep each other accountable and sharing wins, and we're doing all that, but we're also just like, you know, shooting the shit and getting, you know, learning about, like, I learned so much. I never knew there were so many video editors from Pakistan, for example, and like how
Yeah.
actually talented, you know, they
It's
are.
insane.
So I've learned so much from starting this community. It's out of all the work I do in my day, which is like way too much. It's like the most value I get out of life or out of my career is like talking to other editors and giving back and sharing my perspective, but also like learning and meeting guys like you. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you wanna jump on some calls with us, like, you know, we usually have like small groups, like six or eight people in these
Yeah.
on these calls, and you know, I'm sure it's great to listen to, but like we're also there to like listen to you and hear about, like, you know, we want to meet more people and share and help, and
For
you
sure.
know,
For
that's really
sure.
what it's all about. So if you've got any interest in joining, shoot me a DM. Like, you know, I'll fill you in on all the details, you know, and yeah, just looking to help as many editors as I can. And I know you're in the same boat. Get to like where we've, you know, accomplished what we've been able to accomplish. It's such a good feeling to be able to give back, and that's why I do it. All right, Arthur. Hey, thanks so much
Yeah,
for
man.
joining. Like I said, we'll have to do this again, and always appreciate
Always up for it, man.
talking. And I'll talk to you soon, bro.
All right, man. Take care.
All right,
Bye bye.
you too, brother. See ya.